Today we're going to talk about how to rent an exotic car in Las Vegas. We're going to answer all of the underlying questions like what kind of cars can you rent, about how much does it cost, what sort of documentation you need, and what are the different ways you can rent an exotic car.
There are three different ways basically to rent an exotic car when you come to Las Vegas. The first of those ways is to go to your traditional rental car companies like Hertz and Enterprise, that sort of thing. They do offer some exotic car options. The second is an app called Turo.com, and Turo is a peer-to-peer sharing, sort of like Airbnb, but for cars. And the third way is the more dedicated exotic car rental car places, the places that actually carry a lot of the really crazy supercars and hypercars. Now, we're going to talk about all three of those, and we're going to start with the traditional rental car agencies are a little bit awkward when you go to rent. Now, I've used them before. I've used Hertz, I've used Enterprise and others, and you find that you can sometimes get an exotic car. They have, for example, the Hertz Dream Collection, but the problem is what they refer to as an exotic car, not so exotic. I mean, they call a BMW 8 Series an exotic car. I don't really think so. The number two way to do this is to rent from Turo.com. Now, the Turo app, easy enough, you download it, you put it on your phone. You can find some really nice exotic cars on there sometimes. They're not always there. Unlike those traditional rental car companies that refer to a BMW 8 Series or a Porsche Cayman as an exotic car, you can actually find a McLaren or a Lamborghini or something wild on Turo. The upside on Turo is that sometimes you can find a pretty good deal, but you have to watch out because a lot of times there are a lot of catches. For example, they may have real limits on the mileage you can drive, or if there are no limits, then the charge per mile is very high. Some other downsides on Turo is the fact that the owners can be flaky. Now, we use Turo all the time. In fact, we have our minivan that we're using as our camera car this week. We got it from Turo. But exotic car owner community on Turo, not so good. Sometimes they're very flaky. We rent a car, you get there the day before, and they cancel on you. And they don't have a backup plan. So if their car is down or they just decided not to rent it to you, you may be out of your experience. A lot of times they have unrealistic expectations about what they can charge for their vehicles. So for example, you might get on Turo and find a Lamborghini Gallardo, which is an older Lamborghini. Nothing wrong with it, a fun car to drive, but there might be a guy asking $500 a day, and there might be a guy asking $1,500 a day. And if you're not really knowledgeable in what an exotic car is worth to rent, you might overpay. Option number three are the more dedicated exotic car rental car places. There are a lot of them in Las Vegas. There are a number of different ones to choose from. Personally, we use Royalty Exotics. One of the best things about these dedicated places is you're going to find actual exotic cars. You know, you're going to find your McLarens, you're going to find your Porsche GT3s, you're going to find your Lamborghinis, and a lot of wild cars, things that are actually exotic cars, not a BMW 8 Series, you know, which is what my grandmother drives. The downside is it's a weird business, and a lot of the dedicated exotic car companies are very shady. You might end up feeling like you were just in some sort of a dirty deal when you went to one of them. Now, we don't get that here at Royalty. We've used them a number of times. Now, Royalty doesn't pay us for this. We don't get any kind of perk for saying these nice things about them, but we have a lot of experience here, and that's why we come here and we rent from them. The experience has always been a good one. The other reason we come here is they have a lot of cars. They have backup. Today in particular, we're taking out an orange Huracan Spider. If it breaks down, they have plenty of other ones. That's an upside. So they have about a 99% reservation accuracy. So when you get here, you're gonna get the car you want 99 times out of 100. And we have yet to rent 100 exotic cars, though that is on my list of things to do.
So whether you're doing it online or in person, renting from Royalty Exotic Cars is a pretty straightforward process. You select the car you want to rent, how long you want it for, which you can do for 4, 8, or 24 hours, and then you just provide the required documentation. Those requirements include you must be 25 years old or older, you must have a valid U.S. driver's license, and you have to have insurance that meets these requirements. And then make your payment, and you're out the door.
All right, as far as the cost is concerned on renting one of these cars, it can vary a lot. Depending on whether you get the car for 4 hours, 8 hours, or 12 hours, the price can vary quite a bit. And again, it can also vary based on the car you get. So you might expect to pay somewhere between maybe $500 or up to $20,000 for something as crazy as a Bugatti Chiron. Now, keep in mind, there's also an 8.325% tax from the state of Nevada. There's a 10% surcharge from the government because this is a luxury, and then a 2% rental tax from Clark County. So you can't blame Royalty Exotics for that, blame your congressman.
Now watch our 5 favorite things to do in an exotic car in Las Vegas.